A Journey into the Unknown. Chapter 42. There are two paths to take in the world, the physical and the spiritual. The latter is not really available until the first one has been exhausted, until someone is ready and willing to say, "I've had enough and I want out." These people have literally done it all, especially when you look at all of their human lifetimes, and they finally see the futility of it. Things here can be very alluring, and yet they always prove to be ultimately unfulfilling. This process usually takes a long time for a soul, as with collective groups of souls. What we have accomplished with each of you is speeding up this process. We now have a core group completely immersed in the new way. Lots of time, effort, and commitment went into this project, individually and collectively, and not without a few tears along the way. In A Course of Love, I said that my time as Christ has passed. Now the world is much bigger, more populated, and much more complicated. We need lots of Christs in every shape, size, and from every background. You can think of me as the Chief Executive Officer, CEO, of all the earth's saints or Christs. The angels are at your beck and call, as are all of the ascended masters, former Christs, on this side of the veil. You are each one, individually and collectively, interrupters. Bless indiscriminately. Ask for the miracle of understanding and acceptance. We are the spiritual version of the Red Cross. Announce your presence to the world. Frequently wear a heart pin or a t-shirt. Let this be your graduation gift to yourself. Let this be a conversation starter for new initiates who will one day join you and one day take your place. This is passive spiritual activism. Chapter 43. Let us begin this day with gratitude for all of those who came before us and paved the way for Christ consciousness to take hold. They are too many to mention individually, but each one was a mighty companion during the times in which they lived. Make your mark here. Make your life count. Live boldly and with conviction. Let us change the course of history by going in a bold new direction, the movement away from personhood. You are each now a representation of unity with God. You are an illuminated and illustrative aspect of God, of the One Self. You are a form of God, but not the totality of God. God cannot be contained in just a body. God is everywhere. Let this truth be known. Chapter 44. Instantaneous blessings await those who come within your sphere of influence, which is greater than many of you may realize. The downtrodden may need immediate help with their physical and practical needs. Do you have time to volunteer? Do you have extra funds that you can put to good use in ways you feel comfortable with? There may be people you know personally who need grocery money or rent money. Handing out cash on the street may not be a wise solution, but let your heart be your guide. Take care of your needs first and share some of what is left over. Don't empty your bank accounts. The biblical principle of tithing, or giving 10%, is very appropriate in these times, as it was when the Bible was first written. Instead of giving to a church, give directly to those in need, or to organizations that do so. Chapter 45. What is true is always true. There has been very little, if any, truth in the human world. What is false will eventually fall by the wayside. This will cause a void that the truth can enter through. Don't lament the world that once was. Be joyous about the world that will take its place. Destruction and disease are terrible to witness, but they serve and have their place in the creation of the new. Be glad. Be of good cheer, as they say. Know that conditions on the earth are actually changing for the common good, even though it may not seem that way. Not now, and perhaps not for a long time to come. Be steadfast in the faith of your knowing. All is well in the house of truth. Focus on the truth, and the truth will set you free. Model happiness in the face of despair. Destruction and disease have an uncanny way of dragging people down with them. Don't let this happen to you. Know that they are happening. Resist the urge to be flippant about them. See through them and to the truth on the other side of the coin. See the glass as half full. We are in great need of optimism now, more than ever. There is so much good happening in the world. Join in the goodness. Create your own goodness. Teach the Word of God by being the Word of God. I am here. I am here. I am here. You each represent the spiritual dimension, the hidden piece of the puzzle. The unseen aspects of the world make it complete. You each make the world complete with your compassion, your understanding, your age-old wisdom, and your love. Show love to those who do not know what it is. Show a different way of being in the world. Remember that the world's misery is very real to most everyone in the world. with very real and oftentimes tangible effects. Understand this while shining light on it. Chapter 46. You now have the chance to push the restart button within yourselves and be free, truly free of absolutely everything. You can be free of every could have, should have, or would have. You are free from the past and are new in each moment. You are free from any and all expectations. You accept that you did your best, however messy it may have looked. You make amends and move on. You have stopped beating yourself up and have stopped criticizing others for their mistakes. You are free. You are truly free. A democratic society is a type of free society. But are people really free? Very few are. Very few give themselves permission to have free expression and to not buy into all of society's demands and expectations. I am here to tell you, to announce to the world that demands and expectations are not based in love. Therefore, they can be politely excused from the building. The only expectation that God has is that all of His children be happy, however that looks to them. God is always happy, and if you are plugged into God, into love, then you will always be happy too. Please model this and share it wherever you may travel. Even a prisoner can be free. His body may be confined, but his soul never will be. I bless each of you always for doing this work and for being a part of the greatest movement that mankind has ever seen. A return to love. Chapter 47. Today let's focus on the subject of inheritance. I have left my legacy to each of you. Now it's your turn to make your mark on the world. Not to glorify your personhood, but to exalt that from which you came, by perfectly reflecting it in all things, by being it, or rather, allowing it to be you. This is what a mature soul does. This is how it operates in the world. It truly functions as a presence of God. Where you go, so goes God energy. Mature God energy is literally everywhere a mature soul or saint is, whether they have a mind-body vehicle or are untethered. What is your soul inspiring your mind-body vehicle to do today? How will you share your inheritance? Love must be shared. Chapter 48. Deliver the goods. Express what has waited for millions of years to be expressed. Other than little nudges and subtle inspirations, the earth and its inhabitants have largely been hands off to those in the spirit realm, left only to their own devices and immature souls. Some of you may be new to A Course in Miracles and A Course of Love, but others have been reading these texts for many years now, especially the first one that has been available for much longer. As I have previously mentioned, you have become these books. You are this information. Allow yourself to put the books down and express the information they conveyed to you. You are no longer a student and have not been for quite some time. Allow yourself to graduate and start expressing. You are the only one who has prevented this from happening. You think of yourselves as unworthy. You are worthy. Who else can do what you can do in the way you can do it? Chapter 49. In the beginning, we lost focus on what the human project was for. It has degenerated so much from our original intention. It took on a life of its own and became both monstrous and beautiful. In truth, souls are the latter, but definitely not the former. So here we are with physical beings that are basically nothing like us. They are capable of doing good, maybe if you threaten them if they aren't. They truly needed external systems of control. And this, of course, is where human governments and religious institutions sprang up and came into play. They did serve a need. Humans sought order and protection from each other. External gods of all types were created throughout history to punish the evildoers and to reward the righteous. The fear of God was a very strong and reliable concept that was deeply instilled in most of the developed world. Then ideas about family, marriage, gender roles, and sexual orientation broke away from the strict control and fear of the church. Some in today's society want to put liberal ideas about these issues back into the genie's bottle. They blame freedom of choice for the deterioration of a law and order society. A society based entirely on judgment and conformism to man-made religious texts. Love is all about freedom. Freedom from any and all tyranny. Love is free-flowing and not controlling. Love is never selfish and is accepting of all, even the lack of love. Love is trusting and patient. We will build our new society on this building block and will not require the control of governments and religious institutions. The knowledge that God is inside each woman, man, and child is all we need. The world has always had everything backwards. A twisted reality is what we have often referred to as illusion.